Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's September 24th, 2016. Right now in my neck of the woods, there's a manhunt supposedly for a shooter that went on a rampage in a small mall in Burlington, Washington, late last night, September 23rd, 2016. This manhunt, it is a farce. It is a hoax because there was no shooting. What happened last night is a police drill was put on. Police often have drills at malls, theaters, public schools, the same places where they report all these mass shootings so often. What has been going on in this nation for decades is the police, the media, and the government conspire to create fictional tragedies for the sake of agenda, for control. All of these shooting hoaxes, they boost gun sales, they boost ammunition sales, and those are two of the biggest remaining industries in this country, gun manufacturing and bullets. This is a military nation. One of the only things left that are built here are weapons. So each of these shooting hoaxes boost sales. They're like mass commercials for gun consumers. What it also does is allows legislators to try to pass bills and then more background checks and all this stuff creates contracts and money for the people who are into printing and creating documentation. All of this is money-driven scheming, taking advantage of the people. And all of this crap is paid for with our tax dollars. You know, our next president's about to be Hillary Clinton, and in the 90s when she was First Lady, she said someday she was going to accomplish her goal of creating mandatory gun owner insurance, higher gun taxes, 25%. All of you who own multiple weapons, it's very likely under Hillary Clinton's presidency, you're all of a sudden going to have a whole lot of new insurance costs for each of the weapons you own, and you're going to have to pay taxes at a much higher capacity when you purchase guns and ammunition. This is where they're taking us with all this agenda-driven bullshit. And eventually, one day, they're going to take us to the cliff where they want us to all just kill each other with these weapons. You know, when we're starving and the power's been cut off like they did to the people in Puerto Rico. So anyway, what I'm going to show you in this video is 100% definitive proof that this is a hoax. And worse yet, it's a tribute to RH Macy, the founder of the Macy's department stores where supposedly the 5 people were killed last evening. They're saying 4 women and 1 man were killed in a Macy's in Cascade Mall in Burlington, Washington, about an hour north of Seattle. What else you're going to know by the end of this video is how this is connected with the governor of Washington, Jay Inslee, and at the end of the video, I'm going to be sure to post his phone number. Everybody who watches this video who wants to make this world a better place needs to call Jay Inslee and leave a message and let these goons know that we're on to them. We, the people of this world, need to rise up and take these people out of power because they are tyrants in high places ruling over us, stealing our taxes, stealing our time, stealing our energy, needlessly scaring us with their bogus propaganda media. Every single time they give us one of these stories, it's the same details. It's always a mocking. It's always a grainy, pixelated image. I mean, here we are in 2016, and the only image they have to show of the supposed shooter in the media is this. This could be truly anybody. Truly anybody. We have HD cameras everywhere, and this is the only image they can put out. I live in Washington State. This happened next to Interstate 5, the major freeway, which has cameras all over it. Every street corner in this region has cameras on it. There are cameras everywhere in Washington State. This is already a police state, a surveillance state. There are police everywhere. There are state troopers everywhere. There are so many police in Washington State. This entire story is just impossible. It would be impossible for somebody to shoot up a mall and get out of there in time. There are cops everywhere. And where do the cops stay on Friday nights? They stay at places like the mall where people go to. There must have been so many police already around the mall. Last night, they're telling people they already got the feds searching. The feds can't find this, you know, how old is he? Early 20s, supposed teenager? I mean, this is just such a joke. So let's get into this. You're going to understand how this is a major tribute to RH Macy, who died in Paris, France. Yesterday, the date of the shooting, September 23rd, was New Year's Day on the French Republican calendar, which came out of the French Revolution. So a New Year's Day shooting. RH Macy died in Paris, France on the date March 29th, 329. Yesterday was 923. As I've been saying for 3 years, your mainstream media is all propaganda driven. It's all by the numbers. And when you have enough information, you can see how the propaganda they contrive are always tributes in history. You have to know enough history to recognize it. So let's start right here. Mass shooting. In Gematria, sums to 51. Just like Burlington, where it happened. Just like conspiracy. Just like federal. This is a federal agenda. Mainstream media participating. And police. All of these things are owned by the same gang of people. The Freemasons and the Zionist Jews, who are the New World Order. I'm going to put out a video after this. It's going to be on the death of Shoddy Lowe, the rapper. I'm going to talk about how all the rappers this year that you've heard about dying have all died by the same number. The number of the New World Order. We'll talk about it. Commercial hip-hop music used to sell the New World Order. Consumerism, self-worship. Anyhow, mass shooting, Burlington, conspiracy, federal, all 51. Think about Area 51, the federal conspiracy area. Everything about this nation, if you learn Gematria, you will see is by the numbers because it's been built by the Freemasons and the Zionist Jews who are very much into these practices. So here's Roland Hussey Macy, the man that the Macy stores are named after, born August 30th, 1822, dead March 29th, 1877, in Paris, France. His name in Gematria has that 226 connection. For those of you who follow my work, here's another 226, the number very connected to Saturn, the planets, astrology, the keeper of time. 226. He went by the name RH Macy. His name was Roland Hussey. He went by RH Macy. RH, those initials, sum to the same thing as God. God equals 17, God equals 26. In Jewish Gematria, God equals 61. Macy's with the plural equals 61. RH Macy, the small way, sums to 32, the big way 68. Yesterday's shooting in Burlington at the Macy's was on a date with 68 numerology. Show you something. The word Macy, the singular, is 42. Macy without the S is 42. Washington is the 42nd state. Washington is the 42nd state. 42 is the number of the Freemasons. Freemason equals 42. They're builders, building 42. Architect 42. History 42. The victors write the history books. That's who they are, the Freemasons. Knowledge 42. The Freemasons pride themselves on being the keepers of knowledge, such as Gematria, hidden from the public, used every day. Economics 42, World War 42, Math 42, War 42. What word I forgot to put on this list is gun. Gun is 42, and there's this major focus on gun-related shootings right now. For gun sales, for gun control. The big G in the middle of the Freemason compass also represents 42 in Sumerian Gematria, also called English Gematria. Macy in simple English Gematria sums to 42. We get a shooting at Macy's in the 42nd state, which is Washington, on the day connected to his own death, which we'll talk more about. We'll talk about the distance from his date of death, the anniversary of it, to this year's shooting. More to come. So RH Macy dead March 29th, 1877 in Paris, France. On RH Macy summed to 68. Yesterday was New Year's Day of the French Republican calendar, and it was also a date with 68 numerology, just like the Gematria of RH Macy. 68 is also a number connected to death because caskets go 6 feet deep, are often 8 feet long. 68, a fateful year. MLK assassinated by the numbers. RFK assassinated by the numbers. The day of his birth, August 30th, 1822, it's a date with a life lesson number of 51. So in his own birth numerology, he has this connection to 51. They just had this shooting at the Burlington Macy's. You know, there's about 1 million different Macy's in this nation. So why did they choose the one in Washington State? Well, no doubt because it's the 42nd state. But again, there's a lot of Macy's even in Washington State. So, life lesson number of 51, we get the mass shooting in Burlington, which equals 51. This is how they do it. Plus, Burlington's a fitting place to do the hoax. Hardly anyone's up there. It's a low-capacity mall, small town. You notice most of these shooting hoaxes are in smaller population places. Easier to get away with the drill. The date he was born, August 30th, also a date with a 38 connection. The word mall equals 38, death equals 38, 5 dead equals 38. The day he died in Paris, France, interesting date in numerology. What stands out is the 109 numerology to me because he was born in Nantucket. Nantucket has that 109 connection. Also a date that connects to RH Macy, the small way. With regards to him dying in the year 77, police officer equals 77, police department equals 77, September 11th equals 77. This year on July 7th, there was the worst loss of life for a police department since September 11th, and another manufactured shooting hoax by the numbers. This man dead in 1877, and who put on the drill last night were the police. The police are mostly responsible for this propaganda. The police are the servants of the tyrants who rule over us. That's why police uphold all these unjust laws. Most of the laws of this nation, they're not to anyone's benefit. They're here to maintain the prison industrial complex. They're here to pick on certain segments of the population. They're here to protect the real criminals. This is a nation founded by Masonic Jewish criminals, run by criminals. So get this. From the year he died until this year, the date of the shooting is 139 years and some months. Freemasonry equals 139. And from this shooting to Jay Inslee's upcoming birthday is 139 days. Very special number, one I talk about all the time. This state, Washington State's named after George Washington, a 33rd degree Master Mason. From the anniversary of his death until the date of this shooting that was a tribute to his death was 179 days. And what 179 is the 41st prime number. They're saying 4 women, 1 man killed, 4-1. Yesterday's date had a life lesson number of 41. It had numerology of 68, a life lesson number of 41. 179, the 41st prime, a span of 179 days. It's always done this way. You know what to look for. You'll see how they scripted it. The word USA in gematria sums to 41. USA, or the acronym, the abbreviation for our country. 41's the 13th prime number. 13 colonies to start the nation, 13 stripes on the flag, 13 years of public school programming, destroying the minds of most Americans, turning them into low-skilled, worn-out, obedient believers of lies. It's pretty much how most people come out of the American school system. Very few skills, believers, not much of thinkers. They just believe all the bullshit they've been taught. That's why when they turn on the TV, they let all the bullshit penetrate their mind. By the way, T's the 20th letter, V's the 22nd, TV, 42. Freemasons programming people through their technology. Some other interesting things. The day this man was born, RH Macy, the day that leaves 123 days left in the year. The word conspiracy, the big way is 123, the small way 51. He has the connection to 51 as well, which we talked about. The day he died was the 88th day of the year, March 29th. The word poison equals 88, and all throughout history, poison has been used to kill people without a trace, especially arsenic, the 33rd element on the periodic table, the number of Freemason obsession. Arsenic, 33rd element. Arsenic in gematria equals 33. It has an atomic weight of 74. 33 and 74 is a Masonic pairing. Out of the 50 states, only one sums to 74. It's Oregon, the 33rd state. And the abbreviation for Oregon is OR, 33. Last night's shooting was at Cascade Mall. In almost all these shootings, the number 74 is coded. In fact, last night before this broke the headlines, I was doing a radio show interview, Truth Frequency Radio, Beyond the Veil. And in that video, I spoke to a new audience. I explained what gematria was, and I taught specifically about 74. Because if I can teach people to just look for the number 74, they're going to see through the majority of the propaganda in the media. And I told the people listening last night, I said, the next time you see one of these false flags in the media, do your gematria. You're going to see how the 74 pops right out. As soon as I get done with that interview, these headlines came out like literally moments later. At Cascade Mall, Cascade Mall 74, this special Masonic number, Jewish 74, Masonic 74, killing 74, holiday equals 74, Independence Day equals 74. Think about our 7-4 birthday in this Masonic Jewish nation. Jesus supposedly crucified on the cross at 33, Jesus and cross 74. Oregon, the 33rd state, the only that sums to 74. The word police equals 33. The police always connected to these shootings, coding 74. The police run by the Freemasons. By no coincidence, shooting hoax also sums to 74. You know, the Freemasons realize they can really divide us, conquer us, lead us down the path of agenda with the contrived shooting hoax. Here's the French Republican calendar for 2016. New Year's Day, there's different variations of it. Began September 23rd or September 22nd, depending on which version you went with. But again, it's no coincidence that we're getting this New Year's Day shooting on the French Republican calendar in tribute to RH Macy, who died in Paris, France. Something interesting about French Republican calendar, it also has gematria of 213. This is another number connected to killing all throughout history. February 13th is the 44th day of the year. That day is known as Lupercalia. Lupercalia equals 44, shooting equals 44, kill equals 44, officer 44, trooper 44, military 44. February 13th, 2/13 is the 44th day of the year. Tupac Shakur died exactly 213 days after February 13th. He released his last studio album while alive on 213. He died on September 13th, 13/9, Freemasonry equals 139, Tupac Shakur equals 139. Again, this shooting 139 years after the death of RH Macy, 139 days before the birthday of the governor of the state who's telling everybody to pray for the victims. That's what makes me really sick. These people telling people to pray for something that they know is a staged hoax. These people are the absolute worst. Whenever you say amen, realize you're saying the word 33. And we were talking about 42 in the Freemasons. The original published Bibles are 42-line Bibles. The New Testament begins with the 42 generations leading up to Jesus. New Testament equals 42. New World equals 42. The Masons, they came over to this nation once upon a time with their 42-line Bibles and told the people that were coming over on the boats that the people who lived here were godless heathens. They deserved a genocide. You know, Christianity been used to justify horrible things all throughout history and been used as the Freemasons to control people. These people turn everything into a weapon. So now they're saying 5 dead. Last night it was 4 dead. Now it's 5 dead. 5, one of two numbers when written out that sums to 42. Again, Washington's the 42nd state. Macy equals 42. Gun equals 42. 5 dead the small way also sums to 38, like death, like mall. Like Minnesota, which just had a mall stabbing. I think they said 5 stabbed there. That mall stabbing happened on a day with 42 numerology. Stabbing equals 42. Look at the reporting. A blurry surveillance photo of a rifle-toting man. I mean, as soon as he went out of the mall, there would have been cameras on the light post, cameras on the street corners. There's cameras everywhere in this state. There'd be so many high-def photos of this guy, it would be ridiculous. It's all part of how they mock you. In the article, moviegoers asked to leave. One of the first things they bring up, and why do they do that? Because we've had 3 false flag shootings in theaters. Actually, there's even been more than that. But the first one that really caught the headlines was Aurora, right after the Batman thing. Look at this. Aurora sums to 74, the Aurora Theater shooting. Jewish 74, Masonic 74, Cascade Mall 74, killing 74. Last year, there were 4 dead on the Aurora Bridge in Seattle. Supposedly a duck tours crash. 4 dead equals 74. Also what they were reporting last night with this hoax. They love to go with 4 dead because it equals 74. I've been saying that for 2 years now. This witness they have in there, they give her the name that has the same gematria as chaos. Remember, the Freemasons believe in order out of chaos. That's why they stage these hoaxes. Give us all the propaganda, the drama. Order out of chaos. The word order equals 33, federal 33, secrecy 33, masonry 33, police 33. the number of Freemason obsession. The word believe equals 33, so does false flag. 33 is the master teacher number in numerology, and the word teacher equals 33. All of these stories used to teach the people to believe the lies and propaganda that's reinforced with the same patterns again and again. Bullshit stories that don't make sense, blurry images, treating people as if they're fucking retarded. And sadly, the people respond as if they are fucking retarded. Something else that's happened in Skagit County, that's what county it is. 2 counties north of King County, where Seattle is. King happens to have that gematria 41. Skagit County equals 48, like propaganda, like hoax. This also happened on a date with 48 numerology. Hoax by the numbers in Skagit County. Now here's Governor Jay Inslee, the scum that he is. Born February 9th, 1951. From his last birthday to this shooting is 227 days. Remember, when you divide 22 by 7, you get the number for pi. Pi 3.14 having to do with cycles and circles. All throughout history, they've coded this number in their propaganda because it comes in cycles and circles. Tributes to the past. To his upcoming birthday, it's 139 days. The number of Freemasonry. Again, 139 years since the death of RH Macy. By the way, the Freemasons always measure from birthdays. Probably part of the reason they've made birthdays such an important part of our culture. Birthday equals 42. Washington in gematria sums to 49. Last night I showed how this shooting came 49 days before its birthday, November 11th. Established 1889, out of the 33rd state, Oregon. Freemasonry, 139 the big way, 58 the small way. Washington, with the S exception, also has that gematria 58. Jay Inslee's phone number, 206-533-0575. We'll cover it again, but write it down. Everyone needs to call this guy. Let him know. Again, last night's shooting at the Cascade Mall, gematria of 38, just like mall, just like death, just like Minnesota where it just happened. Here's Washington, the 42nd state, established November 11th, 1889. If they catch the shooter sometime today, which I suspect they will, that's something I predicted last night, it'll be a date with a life lesson number of 42. It'll also be a date with 49 numerology like Washington. Shooting came 49 days before the state's birthday. They do all this stuff by the numbers. Still waiting for those headlines. Perhaps they watched my video last night and just to stump me, maybe they'll capture him tomorrow. 48 days. Or the, let's see. I guess that would be 47 days until the state's birthday tomorrow. We'll see. I suspect it'll be later today, though. Washington also has that gematria of Revelation. Revelation's the book of prophecy, which this nation was established from. Revelation, the big way, equals 121. This state established 1111. 11 times 11, 121. Where George Washington's buried, Alexandria, VA, gematria 49. His birthday on the old calendar was February 11th, the 42nd day of the year, George Washington. 42nd state named after him. 33rd degree Master Mason. Freemason 42. The United States of America rolled out the same time English being introduced as a language to the world. Freemason, with the S exception, also has that gematria 51. Last night's police officer was Mark Francis. Mark Francis equals 113, like mainstream, like dishonest. Let's not forget that last year, September 23rd, 2015, Pope Francis had just arrived in the country by the numbers, had a visit by the numbers, first Jesuit Pope left on the Jesuit Order's birthday, out of Philadelphia, the nation's original capital, named from the book of Revelation, the book of prophecy. Last night's headline had the 113 coding. 113, number of the mainstream of the dishonest. Bava Kama 113a in the Talmud says it's okay for somebody who's Jewish to lie to somebody who isn't Jewish. And this nation, this media, worldwide, run by Zionist Jewish banker tyrants. There's that gematria Macy, 42 with the S, 61 like God, like news, like church, like miracle. They said they took these survivors to the church last night. Lots of churches are run by Freemasons. A lot of dishonest churches in this nation. A lot of satanic churches duping Christians, asking for their money. The people who rule over us are shameless. They blamed it on a Hispanic man, which has gematria, just like the word shooting. Hispanic man also contribute to the race war agenda. A lot of people who trust the news media and are trained to hate people who aren't the same race as them. A lot of hatred for Hispanic people in this nation. Donald Trump really bringing that out. Here's also a shooting from last year in Burlington, the same place. And this looks like some straight up bullshit too. I hadn't heard about this until I began investigating last night. Look at this name, Gage Bruce, killed in shooting at Maben Park. And they give us this picture of this guy smirking. Gage Bruce in gematria sums to 42. And doesn't it just sound like a completely bullshit fictional name? I mean, who's named Gage Bruce? The word gauge means to measure, and what the powers that be are doing with this propaganda is measuring how asleep we are, how pathetic we are, how passive we are. You know, they must laugh every day at how stupid we are falling for these grainy image photos. I mean, just look at this. Imagine if you made this propaganda and gave the people this kind of imagery in 2016. What would you think of them if they believed your bullshit? Wouldn't you think they were fucking pathetic losers? Since September 11th, 2001, I've known this is a nation of fucking pathetic losers, let me tell you. And I learned it from speaking out against the bullshit. This is a nation full of cowards, believers, morons, idiots, gullible fools, people that only know 3 words when they're confronted with the truth. That's crazy. Move out of the country. Tinfoil hat. A nation of programmed fucking losers. Bunch of robots. That's why they give you these stories. Gage Bruce killed in shooting. Then nobody lets their kids go to the park. You know, it's now a nation where parents, they're too scared. Why are so many parents procreating? They're too scared to let their kids play in the world. They think the world's this really super awful place because they watch TV. But then they keep having kids. Like it's normal to have kids and let them raise in front of the TV. Never let them go outside. Welcome to present day America because of this bullshit ongoing propaganda. Anyway, Gage Bruce, 42, happened in Maben Park, Maben, 44. He was a teenager, 44, kill, 44, shooting, 44. More gun control propaganda. He died on a date with death numerology, that number 38. Like mall equals 38, like death equals 38, like Cascade Mall equals 38, like Minnesota equals 38, where we just had the mall hoax story. The name Bruce the Big Way is also the same as Washington. Gage Bruce. I mean, just look at these pictures they put out of him. He's asleep, like the people who read the news. If you read the news or watch the news and you think any of it's real in 2016, you literally need to pull your head out of your ass. I can't believe how many people watch my videos and then ask me the next day if I think this news story real. No fucking news story is real. All it reports on is propaganda and bullshit. I don't know how many times I need to say the same fucking thing. Why would they report anything that's real when all they have time for is this propaganda-driven bullshit? Your news isn't here to help you. People are too fucking stupid in this country, Truth Seeker. I can't emphasize it enough. Most people in this nation truly need to be made into fertilizer so that their life can finally have some worth. Just read all the trolls down in the description. I'm sure they're here by the time you're watching this video. Last night's video, I had 5 people post within the first minute uploaded that they were in the mall and at the shooting. 5 people within the first minute happened to watch my YouTube video showing that it's a hoax. It's so obvious, you know, what's going on here. Propaganda, government trolls everywhere, sheeple who can't see. All these stooges they put before us in the media. So anyway, one more time, Jay Inslee's number. Call this person. Let him know that you are on to him and his cronies, and they're all going to be done for soon. These people are tyrants. You know, for treason, the consequence is death. And don't expect your Freemason-run courts and police department to follow through on what's supposed to be. Who needs